Good evening, everyone. So today we'll be continuing from what we that's where we stopped the last time. So we've gone through the whole workflow of how we can create a GitHub account, connect, install Git on our system, and then how to go through the workflow of initiating a repo, making that's adding files, editing files, and then pushing down to GitHub. So like for today, we just want to see how we can work with branches to do that's kind of maybe still in line with what we've been doing before, but then like kind of it's more extended in a way. So and this is like kind of where Git sort of shines, and then we can kind of maybe get to see the power of what Git enables us to do. So so after that we would also like see how we can make pull requests, and then also how to work collaboratively as on projects to going forward. So, like I did a brief intro on what a branch is last week. So, a branch, sorry. So, like a branch inside a repo that you've initiated to be tracked with Git is just like you trying to kind of create a kind of an independent workspace from the main repo that you are working with, maybe to edit files and then maybe to even like maybe write new scripts or work on maybe like kind of a subset of that particular project. So let's say, for example, now I have a main project, maybe writing a program, building a tool, or whatsoever. So I can decide that inside that particular repo that houses my project, I can say that at a point I would like to maybe test some new things, but then I don't want them to reflect on my main folder or sorry on my main GitHub repo. So like what I would do is I would like kind of maybe make a branch from that parent, from that main repo which I'm working on. So whatever change or whatsoever kind of maybe changes I make on this my branch. So like a branch is like kind of maybe like kind of is an independent repo still tied to your main repo. But then like whatever thing you do on this branch now, that's you add, you push and do like many other stuff. It won't reflect on your main unless you decide to maybe like kind of maybe merge it with what you have on your main repository. So like a branch kind of just gives us like kind of that independent workspace to work and maybe like test run stuff before we decide to merge them with our main repository. So like maybe we want to test out, maybe work on maybe a sort, maybe just test out something and then maybe test bugs and the likes before you now merge it to the main repository. So that's like kind of what a branch enables us to do, just to work independently outside the main repo without um it's reflecting on it. So like whatever change you make on your branch would not reflect on the main unless you decide to permit that by merging. So we'll still get to see this hands on. So okay, I think this is a repetition. Okay, so it's not like maybe at the end of the project, maybe like that's after you must have created your branch and then made edits and tested out some stuff. So if you now feel like okay, um what I did inside this branch is good to go. I can now make it into my main project. Then oh okay. So like if I'm now satisfied that okay, whatever I have in my branch is what I would also have want to like maybe have it in my main repository, then I can now decide to merge it. So like this is actually like kind of very nice and maybe like in settings whereby you're working in teams. So maybe like I have a repo and then I have like maybe 5 people collaborating inside the repo. So like I'll see show us how to add other people as collaborators on GitHub. So like we can have a particular repository being managed by maybe several people. So like each person can have a separate branch from the main repository where they can maybe work on their different maybe tasks or assignments. So let's say for example now I have a main project for bioinfo UI. I can give Victor, I can say okay Victor, make a branch and call it your name. Esther, make a branch and call it your name. Adeola, make a branch and call it your name. So you can just make that branch and then work on it independently. And at the end of the day, you can now maybe try to merge it with the main one. And then at the end of the day, the admin will now be the one to maybe give access, maybe like after reviewing your code, or if it meets maybe if it's up to, if it's satisfactory, then it cannot be merged to the main repository that everybody is working on. That's every other person can now see all the changes being made by every other person on the main repository. So that is that. And then at the end of the day, if you decide not to merge, that's after, no matter what you do inside that branch, and then you don't merge at the end of the day, or maybe create a pull request for the admin to merge it, there will be no change in the main repository. It will still remain the way it is until the pull request is merged, or whatever you've done on that particular branch, or multiple branches are merged to the main one. That's when it will now reflect for everybody to see what's going on. And then also, like another important thing that we need to know is that whenever we are trying to create a branch, the new branch that we're creating is going to inherit whatever we have in the main branch that's to work with. So let's say we have Victor trying to create a branch tied to the main. So like whatever I have in that main directory now will be inherited by the branch one, and then I can now start making other changes in branch one. And those changes I'm now making in branch one, which is I'm now using Victor doing it in this particular instance now. So whatever change or maybe changes that Victor makes in this particular branch now won't reflect, but then he will still inherit all the files that we have in the main repository to work on. So, and then if I decide to make another branch within this my branch one now, it is only going to inherit what I have in branch one again. So like it's kind of it's does the same way like people like we inherit stuff. So like we can also make another branch on that branch one. You get, so we can choose to make another branch from the main or make another branch from branch one. You get, so I don't know if this makes sense. So I have a main repository, right? So I can choose to make multiple branches. So like maybe in a team of maybe 5 people now, I can say, okay, Victor, this is your branch from the main folder. Maronel, this is your branch from the main folder. Adola, this is your branch from the main folder. So you can just make that branch from that and then start working on what you want to do. Another thing you can also do is, apart from making a branch from the main, you can also make a branch from, okay, you can also make a branch from, that's another branch that someone made. So like, let's say for example now, Victor starts with branch one to work. That's on that main, that's on the GitHub repository now. So someone else can come and create another branch from what Victor has done already before, and then just continue from there without like whatever change the person would inherit would be like whatever we have in that particular branch one, not maybe a part of the main, but then it will like it will inherit like whatever we have in the particular branch one. So start making maybe working on their own task and then trying to push changes to GitHub before when we decide to maybe should we merge it or should we just leave it that way and go on. So that's basically that. So having said that, like we'll now go into sort of a just a quick demo of what that's all of these things, like what's how all of these things work. That's from trying to fork a repo, cloning it into your local computer, and then making branches and then pushing to GitHub. So that's what we'll be doing. That's what we'll be doing next. So do you have any questions so far before I go on? Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll try, let's go back and work with the last one I worked with the other time. As we'll work with this particular one that we used the other day. So from here, let me just have all of these here. So let me just start with creating a simple file again. So I can maybe call it touch.sh. That's within here. So let me add this. Oh, Okay, and then I would let me check if I'm connected. Okay, so I can go ahead and push. Okay. Okay, so I have the file here. Okay, so let's start here with the whole branch Wahala that we had earlier on. So from this repo now, let's try and make a as a branch from here. So I can say git um let's use switch minus that should be C. So I'll call that branch Victor. So I switched to a new branch called Victor now. So inside this place now, I can maybe decide to like at this particular point, I have now like kind of made a separate branch, just like what I showed here on some the that's on the slide. Um, that was in this. Sorry, it's the wrong slide. So from the main branch, I've now made another branch called Victor now. So I'll now like kind of like Victor will say like kind of inherit like all I have in the main repository. So like once I maybe like assuming I add like maybe anything inside Victor's branch and then maybe push to my GitHub now like and then check compare the two folders together now. Like whatever change I make inside Victor's own will not reflect in the main. So let me just go ahead and maybe create a simple file. Let's say called let's say let's just call it index.html inside Victor's repo and then add and commit. So like for general practice, just or let me just say for good practice, like whenever you're trying to pass a message while committing, like it is also an opportunity to like kind of maybe detail what that particular commit is trying to achieve. So like let's say for example now, that's why working collaboratively, and then I want to maybe I make some changes to a particular code, maybe to achieve a particular purpose. So like whenever I'm trying to commit, I can maybe just simply say, okay, that the commit message is to maybe to modify maybe this interface or to channel this into the other way or whichever thing you're trying to achieve with that particular commit. So that's what should go with the commit message instead of just maybe randomly maybe using a vague commit message just to describe what you're committing. So let's say for instance, at this particular point, I can just say that the index.html file I've added and edited is to maybe let's assume it's a website project. So I can just say okay to maybe to restructure the should I say the maybe the team section of of the website or whatsoever stuff. So, but for now, I'll just maybe use a random stuff, maybe just to commit, so I don't waste our time. So I will just say added a HTML file, okay, and then I can now push. Yeah, and also know like whenever you're trying to push at this particular point now, so like before now, we pushed our change to the main branch, right? But then like what we're trying to push now is a change made inside the that's inside Victor's branch now. So instead of using main, we'll have to change the direction to the branch that we just made, which is Victor's branch, before we can now push it over there. So this is just okay, gate push the changes I've made upstream, that is to the um to the remote connection that you've established, that is to this particular repo now. To push upstream to that particular repo. And then the origin you are seeing here, just like kind of that's a placeholder. for this website. That's like instead of having to write and to type out all of this and then pasting it here, like automatically, whenever you make that connection, so the origin becomes a placeholder for this whole link you are seeing here. So it serves for that purpose. So once I do this and then push, I can now check my GitHub to see what's if there's any change over there. So this is it. So I can now say that Victor that's had recent pushes. That is 2 seconds ago. So and if you look at this now, like I can't see anywhere. Like I can't say that any like if I was added on my that's inside my main direction. So like go to the main. Sorry to I can't say that we added anything to the main branch until we go to Victor's edit and then maybe accept it and then try to merge or something like that. So I can go over here and okay, so this is just saying that okay, I'm trying to as if I want to merge at this point now, I can merge from Victor's directory into my main. So the same way we can also come back here, instead of having to come here, we can also come here and check our pull requests. So we can come here and see Victor's work and then create pull request. Okay. Scroll back. So if you come back now, we can see that like at this point I've not merged. That's why I did not click that merge option we were seeing down there. So like for now, I'll not click like if I should click this merge pull request now, whatever change I have on Victor's repo will reflect on my main repository. So for now, I'll not let's just see the difference between the two of them. I'll not merge it for now. So I have two branches now. If I toggle on this, I would say that I now have a Victor. Sorry, my main branch and then Victor's branch. So if I select Victor zone now, I'll now see what was inherited from the main repository along with what I have in my inside my that's along with the change I made that's inside Victor's branch. So at this point now, you can just be doing whatever you want to do on that separate branch on there until maybe like you now decide that okay, I have like maybe the perfect or the clean code that I can now merge to the or maybe even the maybe the files I need to be merged to the main branch at that particular point. So if I decide to merge, just need to go back to my pull requests again and then accept the merge request. So like this same scenario also plays out when you want to contribute to maybe a major project that you come across on GitHub. So first of all, you have to fork that repo into your own clone it into your local computer and then try to make changes and then at the end of the day you can now try to send a pull request to the owner of that particular repo. So we would also get to see how to do that. But now let me just merge um the pull request from Victor and then I would confirm merge. So if I go back and check my main branch again, I would have index.html that's merged inside it. Okay, so that's it for now. So I know that we had some difficulties earlier on, but are we following? Or if you have any question, you can just simply raise your hand or unmute immediately and ask.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please, who is speaking, please?
Mm. Yes,
Yeah?
this is Ola.
Well, am I the only one not hearing him?
I said, is it to perform the merge on the local terminal?
Can I? Oh, I'm finding it difficult to hear what you're saying. Can you type on the chat box? Chat. People can't hear me. Please, if you can't hear me, just simply let me know. Please. Yeah, please go ahead. Okay. If you can merge on our, yes, we can also do that. So that is like where this thing comes, Git pool comes in. So like for now, with what we've done now, if we should go back and check our local repo now. So let me uh this is we're inside Victor's, that's the Victor's branch. So let's switch back to um to the main branch and then check switch to main. So okay, so I've now switched back to the main. So let me check if that change was able to reflect. So that was inside the home. So there's no index of HTML here. But then to now merge it down to the main repository now, all you need to do is just use our git um command to do that. So once you do git pull and check back, we'll have index.html merged back into our local main repository. Yeah, is that clear? Okay. Yeah, thank you. Please, do you have any other question before we proceed? Any question from anyone? I guess not. Okay.
Sorry. Good evening.
Yeah.
So I have a short question. When you were trying to do the git push, then you said the option U means upstream. All right.
Mm.
So can we do a downstream push?
I've not come across that. That was how the developers built it. So let me type the command again. Git push -u origin. Maybe I would have to check maybe other options apart from you for git push. So like this is just like kind of the syntax. So you're using git to push upstream, that's to the remote server. So you are pushing upstream. Like that, there's another place for that for the placeholder for this minus. I think it's called set upstream too. But then the shortcut is simply -u. So you're trying to push upstream to this particular repository. That is this one we can see here highlighted over here. That's from here to there. So just pushing upstream to that particular repository. So that's all that's just all it represents. Yeah, as far as I know. Do we have something like git push downstream? I think that could be, but then we don't have maybe we can check down later on, right? So what else am I? So I'm guessing why I was not able to switch before, as in between branches, was because I was not like kind of connected to any main branch before now. So like it was until I moved back to the active branch I was working with, that's during the last class, that was when I was not able to switch around. So you see the why I switched from Victor to back to the main directory. So the same way, let me just try and create a new one and then um okay, minus b. Okay, so I can create and then decide to switch back again. The same way I can use switch also to make a new branch. Minus c is the same way. And then I can now use simply switch or checkout to switch around. Can go back to main, and that's it. Okay, so I think what I would want us to try now is to look for a repo on GitHub and then see how we can um kind of make a branch from it and then submit a pull request for it to be merged into that particular one. So I will have a GitHub account for my info, so I'll use that one. Okay, so I'll work with this particular repo. That's to try to kind of submit a pull request. So for now, I just have two branches here, main and then bearing for UI patrol. But let me now come to my terminal and then see how I can make a branch from that particular repo and then try to submit a pull request for my changes to be merged. Okay. So first of all, let me search. I'll search for that repo here. Bioinfo UI. Okay. I'll see. So this is the one we want. So first thing we need to do is we first of all have to fork the repo into our list of repos. So I can still use this, so I can still use this number, I can still change to whatever I want. But then what remains is that to still be the same link whenever I want to add remotely. So I'll create that fork. So I now have it inside my list of repos, repositories, and then I now have this. So I now want to make a branch from this, right? So I'll go here. Okay. So okay. Okay, so first things first. So I would use whichever branch I want to use to connect to that particular repo. So let's work with the one we named Esther. Okay, yeah. So let's switch to Esther and work here. So let's try and make a branch from here. So first of all, let's just do would have to clone first. So from this order we have here, like after creating that's after forking a repo into your list of repos, that's in your GitHub account. So next thing you need to do is to clone that repo down to your local terminal before you can now start to make changes. So we'll go and copy the link to that particular repo first. So I'd come here and then copy the link to it. So which is this? Copy the link. Then I'll clone it down to my local computer. So I now have it cloned. So from this point now, I can now try to maybe make whatever change I want to make, and then submit to the main branch. Okay. So I'll do git. Let me make a file. What do I have here? Okay, I have this. cd bio. Mm. Mm. Okay, I think I might have to move into here first before I make whatever file I want to do. So let me just start from here and then make a new branch from here. Or I'll make a new branch here. Switch minus C. So I'll work from here. So I have all of this from my bioinfo UI GitHub repository. So let me just try to make some changes there. I can maybe just create multiple files. I can create Dodge Ester1 and Ester2. So let me go ahead and commit it. Add first of all. So git add Ester1 and Ester2. Git commit. So once I do this, the next thing will not be for me to connect to that particular repo that's remotely. So I've already copied the link before. So git remote add then to origin. Origin will be there. Okay, already exists. So we can go ahead. So the next thing after this now, like if there was no connection before now, so like I've already connected like before this class. That's like, but if there was no connection before now, it would actually like kind of give us a different message. But because I've connected before the class, so that's why it's not telling me that the remote origin already exists. So we can now go ahead to that's to push our changes. So that should be git push upstream origin, and then what branch are we pushing? So we're pushing this particular one. So I would enter. That's Esther. So you can go and refresh and check. I remember, like I'm working across two different accounts. So like the bioinfo UI GitHub account is like kind of acting like kind of as the maybe the owner of the repo which I forked. So I now want to like kind of make some changes to his code base and then try to submit a pull request to see if my changes will be merged into his or theirs. So I've now pushed the changes I made on that's on Esther's branch. So I'll refresh. So as you can see, Esther has submitted two pushes. So we can either click here or here. So pull requests, compare. So we're trying to create that pull request. Like we also have the option to maybe like kind of add some notes to the admin or to the owner of that particular report that we want to create a pull request for. So we can also like kind of just come here and scribble down some messages and then create the pull request. So if I do that and then just click on this, then the pull request will be submitted. And that's it. Okay. So I can go back here. So I now have wait, request. Okay, so that's all. So let me go back to here. and refresh. That's the admin's repository. So for now, we just have our original two that we had from the onset. It's just the main and then the plugin for UI patch. But then if you look over here, we can see that a pull request um has been submitted from that's from an outsider by an outsider, right? So if we click on that, we can now see um this the pull request that was submitted. So we can go over what they did and then decide whether we should merge that pull request or not. If I should click who's showing you? So if I should click on merge pull requests, so that means I agree with maybe or I like whatever thing Esther did on that's on their own different local space. So I can now decide to merge it here. But if I don't like it, so as you can see, like normally, like if the person submits their pull requests, this is where we normally see the comments, maybe what the person, maybe a summary of what they did, and then why they think it's beneficial to add those changes to the main. So I would say that here I didn't narrow something down. So from here I can now decide to merge, or if I don't want to, I can just say unfortunately scribble down whatever I want to scribble down here and then close the pull request and choose not to merge it. But if I want to merge it, I just have to come here and click on merge pull request and then confirm the merge. So if I confirm the merge, the change that Esther made on their own end will now reflect on the owner's GitHub repository. So let's check that and see. So as you can see over here, so the change has now reflected. That's over here. So please, are we following? If you are following, if you're not following, you can simply ask your questions now. But this is just like kind of a brief overview of the workflow I just shared there. So that's any repo you come across online, how you can fork the repo, clone it down to your local computer, and then make a branch from it, and then try to make changes which you can submit your pull request for them to be merged. So the same way you can also make multiple branches for your personal repository and then um, accept the pull request and then also merge them to your main repository. So it works both ways across. So please, any question? Or if you understood, just a thumbs up. Esther, did you understand? Victor, Clemens. Okay. Um, okay. So like the same thing repeats itself. So that's from cloning to your repo, making a new branch, making changes, and then pushing, and then opening the pull request. You can keep doing it over and over again, maybe to create multiple branches. So I don't know if we should just maybe go over it one more time. I think someone just joined us for my main repo is buying for okay. So let me just should I go over it one more time? Do you think it's necessary? Because I don't have any other thing to talk about today. That's all I have. Just to work us out to make branches and to submit pull requests. And then I think I just forgot how we can add other people as collaborators. So if you want to work collaboratively as on a particular project, you can also do that. So there is a section to do that. So like let me go to the other report. So let's say I want to maybe give other people access to my repo to work on and still make changes to it, and even go as far as making branches to work on different independent part of the project. So all I need to do is just come to settings, and if I look at here, I can see that's under access. You can see this collaborators option. So once you click on that option, oh, you have to verify everything. I don't know why. I shouldn't have made this setting. Just excuse me for a minute. So verify. So I can come here and add people. So anybody I want to work with me on the project, I can come here and add them. So maybe someone should just call their GitHub username for me. Let me add it. Just anybody, just quickly unmute and call your GitHub people.
Victor Emeka.
Okay.
TH. No, TH.
Why are you adding H to Victor? So this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I add you as a collaborator, and then so it's still saying pending invite. So once you accept it, you would have access to this repo and also connect it remotely to your local computer and make changes and push and do other stuff. So that's just it. But then when you now submit a pull request, it's always the admin that would have to merge it. That's if it's deemed okay. So the admin will now be the one to merge that's the pull requests. Yeah, but you can make your branches and add files and do other stuff. I think that's just it for now. So this is 11 after 6. So please, do you have any other question? I'll try to look for an assignment that I can drop. And by the way, like not everybody submitted the last one. Like some people did not add the link. That's the links to their GitHub repo. I think I mentioned that earlier as well. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, regarding that. So I submitted my link, but then it still came back like as red. So I
As
don't
read.
know why. Yes. And yes, it came back as red. So I don't know if it's because I did not add .git at the end. I just like copied the link from the URL and then
Some people submitted.
I pasted it there.
Well, let me stop recording.